good evening, everybody. Welcome to Creating Space. This is Lalia Reyes. And today we will be talking about emotions and feelings, specifically about teaching kids how to express their feelings and emotions. So it's about the emotional well being of our children. So today we will be joined by a very special guest. I've known her from way back. We've been volunteering together in Child House. She's a yoga and Reiki teacher, raising frequencies and certified self-love solutions teacher. Friends, help me welcome Miss Lei Mitchen Santa Maria. Hi, Lei.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
All right, thank you, Lei, for giving us the time for being here and helping us discuss about emotions and feelings with kids.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for the trust.
All right. So let's ground this discussion first because we will be talking about emotional well being. So let's define terms. What are feelings and emotions?
Yeah, for kids, kasi
Yes.
it can be sensations, diba? It can be
Yeah.
something physical and tangible. Are you feeling cold? Are you feeling hungry? Ganyan. But then we could also explain that it's something that's inside. Sometimes, especially for kids, no, there are times when they cannot find their words. So we
Yes.
help them through descriptions, we help
Mm-hmm.
them through examples, and basically feelings and emotions are things that we experience. It's
Mm-hmm.
like what's happening inside of us or within us or outside of us as well. Kasi nga, they can be sensations. But for tonight, it's about well-being. So it's what we are experiencing inside of us.
Yes. So it's what the kids are experiencing inside of us and what happening with them. You mentioned a while ago that sometimes it's difficult for kids to really say what they're feeling. Lalo na, kasi I've known that you've been teaching this sa tweens and teens. Pero especially for
Yes.
kids, mga toddlers, preschoolers, it's very difficult for them to identify what they're feeling. So, it's important for the adults to identify them for them.
Yes. Or to help them, it's important for adults to be able to help them cope at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
depends on what the ability of the child is at that point in time, diba? So,
Mm.
but more than understanding their emotions or their feelings, what we, the adults, can do is create that space for them wherein it is
Oh,
safe for them to feel, that it is
yeah.
safe for them to express in the way that they can and know how. Because how we express ourselves, that's so much different from how they express themselves, diba? And at one
True.
point, we have to find that way to meet them at their level, right? So for me, the first thing that adults need to do is to make them feel that it's okay to feel all those
Yeah,
feelings.
it's okay to feel their feelings. And yeah, very important for them to feel, sabi mo nga for them to feel safe to express these
Yes,
feelings. Little
yes,
or big emotions man to, it's okay.
yes.
Uh, True. Okay. But before that, I've introduced you as a certified self-love solution kids teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go further about the emotional well-being of kids, can you tell us more about the self-love solution and what do you do to teach kids about expressing their feelings?
All right. So the Self Love Solution is actually a program. It's
Mm-hmm.
offered by Atma Prema Wellbeing Group. There are a lot of teachers now, and in fact, there are more teachers getting certified to teach that. So this program has a series of one-on-one sessions teaching
Mm-hmm.
about different kinds of tools that we can use for our daily lives so that we can better take care of ourselves, we can better nourish ourselves. That would lead towards self-acceptance and self-sovereignty. At the end of the day, that's what we want, self-sovereignty. Why? Because when we are self-sovereign, we could direct the way we want to live our lives. We are in charge of our lives and we are accountable for our state of being. And that leads towards what? Happiness, thriving, and empowerment, diba? So I guess we can we can say that talking about our feelings, being aware of our feelings, is one way of starting with self love. No, when
Mm-hmm.
when I talk about teaching kids how to express themselves, it's not necessarily under the umbrella of self love solution program, which is one on
Uh,
one. So
okay.
it can be done in different classes.
Mm.
So there could we have raising frequencies classes also. So these classes have different themes or different topics that would be helpful when it comes to loving yourselves more. Atma prema kasi means self-love, no?
Yes, yes.
I think in
Literal
Latin.
meaning ba? Yeah.
Yes, I think in Latin, no? Ayun, so there are many ways of teaching kids about expressing themselves. We could use, just like how a school teacher would do it, we could use different kinds of games, activities, stories, songs, different kinds of music and movement. There are so many resources out there. But for me, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. I was talking about adults allowing children to feel that it is safe for them to feel their feelings. So we also teach kids to believe that it's okay whatever it is that I feel. It's valid. It's okay for me to feel. And it's okay whatever it is that I'm feeling. We're not going to villainize all these feelings, no? I am
Yes.
so happy you mentioned small or big emotions. I like it that way rather than positive and negative emotions, no? So
Correct.
yun, when they learn that it's okay for them to feel all these kinds of feelings and emotions, then they'll have more courage to express them.
Ang ganda ng sinabi mo kanina about self-love solution is about teaching kids, not only adults, about self-sovereignty.
Yes, yes,
Ang
yes.
ganda-ganda nun kasi at a young age, if children will learn how to be self-sovereign, talagang owning up whatever
Exactly.
emotions with other whatever feelings they have, diba, it's a big help, lalo na if they're adults. They will not clam
Mhm.
up and they will not, alam mo yun, iipunin lang nila yung feelings na yun biglang sasabog.
They
So,
will know how to direct themselves. They're
yeah,
like in training, and at a young age they could start training themselves how to do that. And grow up not blaming other people for whatever
yeah,
it is that's happening to their lives, di ba?
I am empowered, so
Oh,
I can do something
yes.
about it.
Yes, instead of, how we're looking for something or someone to blame, snap out of it, and not having that kind of mentality wherein everything is happening to me. Why are all these
Mm,
things happening to me? Instead of having that kind of mindset, we are letting them know that hey, it's okay for you to step up in your
mhm.
power and direct yourself towards where you want to be or what you want to become,
So it's
right?
like, I am feeling this way. What can I do about it?
Yes.
Hmm. So,
It's
parang you're
yes,
giving the kids solutions na. What can they do?
yes, it's solutions based. It's
Yeah.
okay to find out where are the feelings coming from, but
Mm-hmm.
more than that, it's what we can do next.
Yes. Yes.
Especially, we cannot naman avoid all these feelings, diba? I mean,
Correct.
at one point in time, talagang we will feel big emotions, anger, sadness, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it could even be something that we cannot explain. And that's
Yes.
also totally fine. But what do we want to happen next? Or
Yes.
better yet, what do I need right now?
Mm-hmm.
And once kids get to ask these questions, then they'll be trained to think in such a way that hey, I can be empowered and I can think of something to do so that I could lift myself out of this one, so I could
Mm-hmm.
get back up. Do I need help? Can I do this
Mm-hmm.
myself at this moment? So it's about asking all these questions so that they would know what to do next.
Yeah, that's good. I've seen this in Atma Prema's website. Can you comment
Mm-hmm.
on this? Because
Mm-hmm.
we're delving into the emotional well-being already. By helping our children understand that they can be in control of their emotions rather than allowing these emotions to control them, as you were saying, we empower the youth, the kids, to take charge of their own state of being. Children aren't born with an understanding of their emotions and they don't inherently know how to express their feelings in the most appropriate ways. So, paano kung they will turn into hitting. They will turn into shouting. How
Yes.
to do about that?
Yes. You know what? For me, all right. So I'll go back to the quote first, no?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to controlling their emotions versus emotions controlling them. Same as with
Yes.
adults.
Yeah.
Sometimes our emotions get the better of us. And then again, that's fine. But it's what to do next. It's how can I get myself together, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can I pick myself up? And that's what we want them to start learning. That's what we want them to start thinking about. Because at the end of the day, again, we cannot avoid having all these kinds of emotions.
Yes.
But what are we in control of? We want to be in control of ourselves. And then we ask ourselves, I am feeling this kind of emotion. I am feeling this way. If I cannot label that emotion, that's totally fine. But the more important question is, what do I want to happen next? Or what do I need right now? And when that is answered, again, if it's something that is so big that I cannot express, we have to know when is the right time to ask for help. We have to know when is the right time to just let the feelings flow. No,
Mm-hmm.
if it's crying that we need, then it's okay. But we do know that when it comes to hitting, when it comes to hurting ourselves and other people, we have to be aware. Is that good for us? Is that good for others? Right? So all these things boil down to awareness and choosing what is best for us. Because at the end of the day, what we want our children to know is that feelings aren't there to punish us, that feelings aren't there to that the feelings that we are having are not villains in our lives. They're actually there to help us. They're like our alarm systems. They're like our alarms that tell us when something bad is happening, or when our in adult terms, when our boundaries are crossed, right? When do we feel fear, for example? When there's a threat, when there's danger. And that's very important. Imagine not being able to feel fear, tapos you're in a dangerous situation na pala. So, there. So, again, we look at it in a different perspective, that feelings are there to help us and that we are in control of ourselves. We just have to be mindful about how we are behaving, how we are thinking, and how we are preparing for all these.
Mm-hmm. I'm
There.
gonna
And
like,
then,
yeah, continue.
yes, yes. Ayun. And then, children aren't born with an understanding. So, nature and nurture is supposed to be balanced, right? So, what is it are we feeding ourselves and our children when it comes to emotions, when it comes to experiences, 'di ba? What kind of environment are we setting up? Again, I'll go back to the space that we are in. What kind of space are we setting up for our kids while they are growing up? And that's when they would understand their emotions. And tayo ba, what do they see when it comes to us expressing our feelings? How do we express our anger? So, what will happen to them when they are angry? How do we
Mm-hmm.
express our sadness? So, how do they express their sadness? And it's like mirroring, right? So
Yeah.
it's very important before we teach our kids how to be mindful
No.
about their feelings, we have to practice them ourselves.
Kasi you're a better teacher if parang if the kids can see how you do it. Parang you're being a role model to them.
Exactly.
If they can see you calm down when you're frustrated and
Yes.
upset, they'll
Yes.
follow. So it's okay to show
Exactly.
children that we are also
That we get
experiencing different kinds of
mad.
emotions. To be
Yes, that we
sad,
get
to be
mad, that we are
angry.
sad, that we are scared. That
Mhm.
but what do we do whenever we are feeling those kinds of emotions?
I have a question for you. For example, I am feeling upset and I'm doing breathing
Mm-hmm.
exercise.
Yes.
But if my kid will tell me, no breathing, no breathing, so what will I do? Because that's my way of calming down. But my
Mm-hmm.
daughter doesn't want me to do that. And then I will, can you comment on this? And I'll tell her, this is for mommy, for me to calm down. Because I
Mm-hmm.
want her to follow suit.
Mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
what can I do with this situation?
Question: whenever she tells you no, no breathing, no breathing, how how does she tell you that? In what manner?
Shouting.
Shouting siya.
No
All right.
breathing, no breathing, mama, like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she's 5, no? Um, I wonder. Okay, how do you do your breathing exercise?
Just inhale.
So
So
you're just
I close my
inhaling and
eyes and then
exhaling.
I put my hands on my chest and then I breathe
All
in and
right.
out.
Okay. I think that's a very good way of modeling. But then, ayun nga, kasi she's shouting,
Mm-mm.
right? And then I think one possible thing that comes to her head whenever you do your breathing, when you close your eyes, is she might be feeling ignored.
Oh yeah. Okay, I get it
So
now.
when she is at that state and we are the adult, what do we want her to feel? And do we want her, yes, we want her to feel calm, but instead of focusing on closing our eyes and doing our breath work on our own, if we want them to mirror that, invite her to do it with you, maybe. That's one. Or give her that give her that feeling that you are still there with her.
Okay.
That because presence is such a big thing
Yes, yes, yes.
when they are feeling those big emotions. And there's actually science behind that. It was explained to me before by another speaker. Parang blood rushes through our brain to that part wherein all our emotions are, and then it blocks that part where it's cognitive, the frontal lobe, no? So when this is blocked, no matter how well you explain, they won't
Wala.
understand. So we
Yeah.
have to get the flow going first. So yun,
Mm-hmm.
if something is agitating our kids, then maybe we could find something else so that they would also calm down. So let's not mirror. So let's not mirror and let's not give them the idea that I'm taking a step back because I cannot take this anymore for now,
Ah,
no?
okay. Mhm.
It's our presence at that moment. So comfort and safety for them.
Yeah.
But I understand you're also taking care of yourself and you also tell her this is for mama. But when we explain it to them while they are at the height of their emotions, they won't be able to understand.
Okay, so first hold a space for them.
Yes.
So that they won't suppress whatever they're feeling and they will feel that you're there for them. Okay, I get it now.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. You know what? I also have this ano, I read somewhere there's a mom, she said instead of you know how a child cries, 'di ba? Our tendency is to hug and then to rub the back and then to say shh, shh, shh.
Yes.
That's our tendency. She replaced it with I'm here. I'm just
Yeah.
here. I'm just here. And it made such a big difference for her child. Ayun.
But
So
what if
ayun.
on
Mhm.
situations because when kids go to school, how how can they will be crying, they will have tantrums, they'll have fights with their friends. So are you telling that it's important to do the things first in our household,
Exactly,
so that
because
they'll
yes, so
wherever
that they can
they'll
bring
go,
it outside.
yeah, they'll
Yeah,
bring it
because
outside.
see, their first environment is really where they live. The first people that they interact with are the people in the house. So whatever it is, again, that they practice there, they can bring it outside. We want them to be able to be confident and brave enough so that when they are in a different place, they could still express themselves in such a way that is good for them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, for example, not everybody responds well to crying, but I've met a kid who would say just 5 seconds. I just need to cry.
Oh, she will
And
tell you that.
yes, because maybe it's something that they need.
Mm.
And then when they're okay, that's when we can process things. Again, we cannot naman process anything with a child if he or she is at the height of their emotions. And each child, we have also to understand that each child is unique and
Mm-hmm.
different when it comes to sharing how they feel or expressing how they are feeling. Tayo din naman, 'di ba?
Yes.
When we don't feel safe and loved, we don't feel like opening up.
Yes. True.
'Di ba? We clam up. That's when we pause. That's when we close our doors. That's when we stop sharing. That's when we don't talk. What more for the kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing for me, no? Whenever they are at that state wherein they are feeling at the height of their emotions, then we have to create a space for them wherein it is safe for them. And then when they are able to understand that already, how they can create that kind of space for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for example, I'll go back to your breathing practice.
Yeah.
If your child is ready to learn about breathing or is already learning about breathing, just consistently do it. That's
Mm-hmm.
when they can absorb it.
Mm.
So instead of teaching them at that moment when they are angry or agitated or anxious, it can help, but again, comfort first, and then we teach them
Yeah.
the tools. Or
Okay.
before that situation, we teach them the tools. Na.
I remember one time, she told me, Mama, I cried in school, but I calmed down. Sabi ko, how did you do it? How did you calm down? I breathe. Sabi ko, so may
So
pwede
she's
naman ako
getting
nga.
it.
She's getting it.
Yes.
It's just that during the time nga na she's agitated and angry, she will, hindi niya
No breathing,
papansin.
no breathing.
Yeah, she will
Mm.
tell that to me. Pero, in a way, may nakukuha siya. Pero I really don't have
Yes,
to
yes.
share.
So
So,
it's
it's very
really about
important.
consistency.
Yeah, okay. Consistency and yeah, really hold space for our kids.
Yes,
A safe
yes.
environment for them to really feel their feelings.
That's right.
So, kasi not all are parents. So there are teachers, there
That's
are
right.
caregivers. Can you give us practical tips? So you've already mentioned to hold space and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes to name the emotions. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay if they cannot name the emotions. And let them have the time to feel their feelings. And then what
Mm-hmm.
can you do after that?
What then that when they have calmed down, when they have the space na to absorb,
Yeah.
then that's the time we let them know that hey, we're here, we can talk about it. If you don't want to talk, we have to expose our kids to different ways of expressing ourselves. Is
Okay.
it
So,
through drawing? Is it through
oh,
writing? Is it through
okay.
music? Is it through playing? Is it
Ano
through
yan?
dancing?
Can I interrupt right
Sure.
after they calm down?
Yes, when they're ready na. You
Okay.
know how children, you know how sometimes children cry and then, huh, okay na, and then you see them suddenly running around na.
Yeah, they pay again. Okay. So
Yeah,
as
they
soon
can
as
eh. So
they're ready.
yes, as soon as they're ready, as soon as they have calmed down, then ask them, do you want to talk? I'm here
Mm.
for you. Do you think you can write something about what you felt or what happened? Do you think you can draw about it? Do you want to play first? So, as soon as both of you are in the space to talk or to process whatever happened, then go for it kasi sayang yung moment. Is
Uh,
there some kind of music that you guys can listen to and play so that you can talk about it or so that
mhm.
it can be processed? So there, or allow the child to direct you towards an activity that he or she would like to do so that they can release whatever it is that's still in them.
So it's
Do they
child led.
need so,
So
yeah,
you
it
ask them,
can
give
be
them
child
choices.
led.
So yeah, it's not from you. You will not make the choice, but you let them.
Write it out! Ganun naman gagawin natin, di ba? Or
So let them.
or
Ayun,
tell
allow
me,
them. Yeah.
tell me. What if they
Yeah,
don't
di
want
ba?
to talk?
Oh,
I mean,
kaya.
again, I'll go back to us adults. Ayaw natin that we are being forced into all these kinds of things, di ba?
Mm.
And again, in self-love solution, if the student is ready, no matter how much we love that student, we cannot force it out of them. If they are not ready,
Yeah.
they're not ready. So what do we do? Then we create space for them so that they can be there for themselves and that show that we are there for them too. Yun. So
But
exposure to different ways of expressing
mhm.
ourselves, different ways of expression, that's very important. Because if they are not exposed to that, they then they wouldn't know that they can do that pala to express themselves.
Ngayon ko lang siya
Listen,
narinig actually. Kasi
oh,
usually, we just talk it out. Okay, we'll just process by talking it out. But meron palang ibang tools. They can draw, they can
they
sing, they
can,
can dance, they can other
yes.
things.
When
There
you
are
play with them and they are doing role play, that can come out too.
minsan during playtime. And they're
Yes,
doing
yes,
figures and then may
yes.
conversation. Parang yung
When
nangyari
they
kasi
role play, when they pretend, when they imagine, that's when these things come out. So it's up to us to be really mindful about what is coming out from them.
okay.
So again, think think of how different kinds of learners we have, diba?
Yes.
There are different kinds of learners. There are visual learners, auditory, kinesthetic, and then you put in pa multiple intelligences, diba?
Just, dami pa nun, yeah.
Ang dami pa nun. There are those who can talk about how they feel well, but not everybody can do it,
Yeah, yes.
right? So we have to make sure that they have the tools, no? Yon.
So, you're also respecting how unique your child is. Kasi sabi mo nga, not one tool
Mm.
will work for all children, even
Yes,
teach
yes,
the
yes.
craft. So,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to be a servant and be mindful how your child is, how your student is, to be able to process their emotions and feelings.
Yes, because there is really no one way.
Yes.
We also have to be open to that thought. There is no one way of processing things, of understanding things, of but they all root down to holding space for them,
Yeah.
for caring. It all boils down, or it all stems from how we care about them or how much we love them. Yun yung root, but then the different ways of how to do it, iba-iba. Just like languages of love too, diba? That's why we have
Yes,
all
yes.
these kinds of things.
Five love languages, yeah. So it's the same.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, this one, another question. I've asked you this already. Yung tantrums for toddlers and preschoolers, usually big emotions na to, and being
Yes.
angry and upset for older children. Do they have the same tactic? Paano ba? Is it the same for the children who are younger
Younger.
and
Ako,
older?
I would look at it differently, no? Because they have different capabilities na.
Okay.
I could imagine the older kids becoming more aware
Mm-hmm.
and having um, a bigger, for example, a wider range of vocabulary to be able to express themselves versus the
Ah, yeah.
toddlers. So
Mm-hmm.
toddlers na talaga, it might have to be very tactile pa nga through touch, through hugging. Um, physical, you have to be physically with them for them to know that you are there. Older kids can understand when we give them space, literal
Literal
space,
space. Yeah.
like we kind of step back, okay, feel your feelings, and then when crying goes down, that's when we step forward because
Mm-hmm.
they have that concept already. You know, in the
Yeah.
I forgot who's this, the object permanence,
Mm, yes, yes.
yung yung object permanence, diba, for babies, for toddlers, if they cannot see something anymore, it's gone.
Yeah.
That's how they understand that. And we don't want them to feel that way. So we
Mm.
have to be physically there. But for older kids, they know that, for example, in this video, my hands are not in the video, but it doesn't mean that my hands are gone. I know that
Yeah.
they're there. They know that they're just there. So they have a better understanding of that kind of concept. So the being there, the idea of being there is, can be expressed differently for different kinds of age group.
Can you be specific kapag sa older children? If you're letting them have the space, for example, they go to their room, older children, and
They
sometimes they'll
can.
sulk, they'll cry
Yes, yes.
without the presence of the parents. And then, when will you come in? Will you wait for the child to be ready? Are you going to ask them, or how
You
will
can
the
ask
communication
that.
partner?
You can already ask. And then, prior to them behaving that way, hopefully some kind of understanding has already been set. Especially they're older. Are we talking about 9, 10 years old?
Yeah, 8, 9, like that.
8, 9. Prior to that, they went through some sort of development na, di ba?
Yeah.
Hopefully they were able to set, not naman a routine, a practice with the parent na by that age.
So, na-establish na since childhood. Ganun
That's
ba yung,
that's
that's
our
what,
hope. That's our
yeah.
hope. That's our hope.
Okay.
Na it's okay for me to go to my room.
Mm.
Come get me after 15 minutes. If not, I'll get out now when I'm ready. So it really depends on the family. It depends on the child. It depends on the parent as well. But for those who are just starting to be more
Mm-mm.
mindful about feelings at age 9 or 8,
Mm-mm.
prior to them feeling those emotions, hopefully again an open communication has already been established.
Okay.
The space has already been created,
Okay.
and the adult has already modeled what can be done.
Okay, so that's three. Let's repeat that for everybody. So first is
What did I say? Open communication has already
open
been
communication.
established. Safe
Second,
environment, safe
safe
space,
environment. Yeah.
and it has been modeled by the
Okay.
adult who's with the child, by the parents perhaps.
Hindi
No?
naman pwedeng salita lang tayo ng salita sa kids. Do
Exactly!
this. And then the kids will,
Tapos tayo.
doing that, mom. Pwede sila mag-ganun, di ba? Kasi
Yes.
the kids will really learn from our actions rather than what we say to them, right? So parang it's a big responsibility pala. Not pala, it's really a big responsibility for adults. Even though you're
Yes.
not parents,
But
your titos
yeah,
or titas or grandparents, kung meron kayong kids or pamangkin, your kids are watching you. They're observing you. And, di ba,
yes.
you really have to be good
Yes.
role models to this, yeah, to these
And
children.
and you know what? Every time you see a person, even if that person is not a child, every time you see a person feeling all these big emotions, think of
Mm-hmm.
that person as a child. How big those emotions are, and how are we treating them? Or better yet, how would you want to be treated?
Yes, yes. Mas
Right?
maganda
And
yun. How do you
that's
want to
such
be
a good
treated?
practice,
Yes,
diba?
yes.
And that's what we practice. That's what we model. Because we were talking a while ago, what good does this do for our kids? Because we want our kids to grow up like this and like that. And that's also how we want to live our lives, diba? So that's
I'm
what we
thinking,
also
nung sinasabi
practice.
mo yan, what will, kita interrupt, what do you want yourself to feel if you're in that situation? Kasi siguro nung time natin, we were belittled na, iiyak ka na naman. Usually, pag umiyak ka, papagalitan ka pa. Parang malinaw yung
Yes.
time that there's self-love and there's respectful parenting and intentional parenting that you're really allowing children to
Yes.
feel. So, in a way, this is kind of new. Kind of new.
Yes. Yes. It's
Kasi,
about time that we shift
yeah,
all these perspectives.
yes. Kasi before traditional and, di ba, how, even though sabihin natin that okay naman ako, but you'll never know because different kids will really experience and magiging iba yung effect to different children, di ba?
And we have to keep in mind whatever we have experienced before in our generation, it's so much different now for all these
Yes.
kids. Whatever,
Yeah.
there are always changes everywhere, every single time. So we also have to keep up. Whatever these
Mhm.
kids are experiencing now, we have never experienced the pandemic when we were at
Yes.
their age.
Cool.
So, yun pa lang, we
Yeah.
have to keep that in mind. changing times, changing ways. We're always up for what will work better. And so
Mm-hmm.
far, I think this is such a good way to start allowing children to be more aware of
Mm-hmm.
themselves so that eventually, or, hopefully they could start as soon as they can to come from their own truth, for them to have more courage, to see vulnerability as strength and not as a weakness.
Yeah.
No? So, all these kinds of things that we are learning now as adults, and that's what I love about self-love solution. Intentionally, it is really for adults, but we always find ways on how to translate them in such a way that kids could better understand.
Kasi it's better if kids pa lang, bata ka pa lang, you learn about these
Yes,
things.
you
We've
start
been talking
na.
about this already. So, when kids learn to manage their emotions in childhood, it leads to positive attitudes and behaviors later in life. Can you tell us more about the benefits when kids learn healthy ways to express and cope with their feelings?
Just like what you said, they won't clam up. They,
Mm-hmm.
for me, again, when they find out that feelings are there to actually help us, that they are our allies actually, then we would be able to use them to our advantage. Again, they will let us know when something happening is good for us or not. And whenever we feel all these big emotions, what happens when we deal with them in a good way, or in a way that is good for us? Then this could lead towards what? Feeling so much better, being
Yes.
able to solve problems, being able to transcend challenges, being able to manage ourselves well, meaning we'll have a better relationship with ourselves, which will lead to having better relationships with others,
Yeah.
right? And happy people make others happy. When we allow
True.
them to direct their own state of being, and when we allow them to generate their own happiness, then they'll be able to attract those who would resonate well with that kind of frequency or energy. And so, basically, what does everybody want? Happiness, joy,
Happiness. Yeah.
peace.
Peace.
Then
Yeah.
that's what they can direct themselves to even when they grow up. And basically, being able to express ourselves allows us to know when we are safe, when we are loved, so that we can make others feel that way too. We teach them to fill their own cup so that they won't feel empty when it's their turn, or when they want to help others. No? And then we teach them about self-awareness, about mindfulness, which leads towards self-acceptance and self-sovereignty.
It's so good imagining a world na kids 2, 3 will be able to know this. And I really think that you're doing such a great job in self-love solutions. Kasi, ano you're an instrument in teaching kids all about this. And parang, wow, anong magiging adult life nila now that they've learned about these tools from you.
'Di ba? We
Okay.
were never taught that when we
Yes!
were kids,
Kaya
'di ba?
magiging bata ko, di ba? Pero I've learned that you've created racing frequencies card for kids. So you're not only teaching kids, you created another tool. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, you know what? This only happened during the pandemic, no?
Oh
And
wow!
so I started teaching raising frequencies for kids only during the pandemic. I have been a student pre-pandemic pa. But
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, when the news broke out that, it's taking a toll on the pointer mental health became so big, especially
Yes.
during the pandemic. So, my mentors, my teachers, and I were thinking, how can we help more? And so we
Mm-hmm.
came up with the Raising Frequencies cards because we believe so much in the power of affirmations. So the
Oh.
Raising Frequencies cards
Do you
for
have some
kids,
samples with you? Oh,
here,
that's
it's
nice.
here.
Yeah.
So it's composed of 30 different cards. They're all affirmations. They are all I am statements. Why?
Oh,
Because we believe that these
these.
affirmations really help a lot. Why? Because words, when any kind of word that we hear, that we see, that we listen to, they
Mm-hmm.
become our thoughts.
Yes.
And all our thoughts get embedded in our subconscious. They eventually become our beliefs.
Yes.
And our beliefs, that's where we anchor the way we live our lives, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, 30 cards with 30 affirmations, at least once a day, you pick one
How do you? Okay, you
affirmation
just
for
pick
the
one,
day.
or is it?
You can just pick one, or
Mhm.
what do I need for today?
I
Especially
can.
for
You can.
older
You can
kids.
ask a question. What
Yes,
do I need today?
yes,
They'll pick
yes,
one.
yes.
That's
You
nice.
can use this together. I think I need this for today. And then at the back, it's like
Mhm.
having a synchronous activity for
Oh,
today.
there's an activity
Parang
in the
may
back.
homework. So that
Uh,
it can solidify and concretize the affirmation.
ang ganda.
Kasi,
I do affirmations with my child every morning on the way to school. Pero ang ganda if you have a card that really visually represents what you are saying.
yes, yes. For
Ang galing.
example,
Can you pick one
uh,
and show the viewers?
here, I am grateful.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing to repeat it. That's one tool already. Repeat it, repeat
Yeah.
it. It's much better if you're looking at the mirror, looking at yourself, and you're really saying, I am grateful, I am grateful. But at the back, there's something that you can do. So, make a list of
Yeah.
what
Make a
you're
list.
grateful for. You can do this every day. So,
That's so
that's
nice.
another tool. And then, for example, or here, I am helpful.
Uh,
And then at the back, so, I was thinking like a teacher. So, this particular card, pwede siyang performance task na synchronous, no?
yes.
So, here, offer to help in at least one household for the day.
Oh, that's
So,
so nice.
just to concretize also the
Mm-hmm.
value here or the affirmation. So again, there are 30, one for each day or one once a week. So
Yeah.
we use this for schools also. Kasi again, there are activities nga at the back. There. So, ayun. So, that's
And
what
ang ganda
happened.
because of
This
the
is
pandemic.
at the
And
height of
also
the
you have,
pandemic.
yes, for you to serve kids and also parents. You're
Parents and
helping parents.
teachers.
Yeah, to raise kids who are in tune with their feelings and who are self-sovereign. Kasi
Mhm.
they're aware of
Yeah.
themselves. Ah, that's so nice. Can you tell the viewers how can they get these cards?
Oh, they just have to go to the Atma Prema well-being website. It's atmaprema.global. Or they just go to the
Okay.
Instagram or Facebook of Atma Prema, and I'm pretty sure they'll find a link there. So they can order this
Okay, so
online.
later we will show the link in the comment section. If you have other questions for Teacher Lee, please do so. We have only a few minutes left. So can you tell us more about your upcoming programs aside from these cards and your do you have other classes that you do for Ata Prema?
Actually, we just finished our Raising Frequencies for Kids
Is
series,
that the one
no?
about courage? About courage, the last one last September
The
10, right?
last confidence, the last
Ah,
one was
confidence,
about
yeah.
confidence. Yeah. So it was a series, but we'll be coming up with more. So just stay tuned. But on Saturday, there will be an SLS, a self love solution program information session. We call it an info session. This will be on Saturday at 11 a.m. They can register at the Atma Prema IG or website also. So I'll
Okay.
be there to talk about SLS for kids. And
Mm-hmm.
another SLS teacher will be with me. Her name is Leia Arigel. And kasi what happened was all of us who trained for self-love solution, we kind of have our own specialties. So
Okay.
I'm specializing on kids and how to teach kids. So others have their own other specialties, no? So Leah works with the youth also and moms and yeah. And so it's a free info session. Just let us know if you want to attend.
So just
So
visit
it's
their
really learning
Facebook.
about yes.
Okay, we'll flash them right
Details
here.
will be on Facebook or Instagram or the website atmaprema.global. And also, I think it's this weekend, Atma Prema Publishing will be in the Manila International Book Fair.
Oh,
So
okay.
because Atma Premos was able to publish a journal already. So we have the Racing Frequencies journal, and we have a book published, written by one of the SLS teachers. Her name is Lisa Degia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she has her book, and it will be they will be she'll be in the Manila International Book Fair for a book signing event. Yon.
All
What
right.
else? Oh, there. We also have Racing Frequencies classes every month.
Every month.
Every month, I think it will be on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
Starting next month, it will be every first Tuesday of the month.
Okay,
So
first
again, all
Tuesday of the
details
month.
will be
A
on
lot
Facebook
of
and Instagram.
programs, and yeah, some of them are free, and most of them are really to serve, not only for
Yes,
kids but
yes,
for
yes.
teens, for moms. So
Mm-hmm.
whoever needs it, we just go to atmaprema.global. Is it correct? And visit,
Atmaprema.global.
yeah, and go to their Instagram and Facebook page. Later, we'll be
Yes.
showing them in our comment section below.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Thank
we're
you for that.
almost done with our conversation. Thank you so much, Lay. But before we finish this conversation, do you have parting words for everybody?
Um, Again, I'll go back to whatever it is that we want our kids to learn. It's something that we have to practice ourselves. We begin with ourselves all the
Yeah.
time. Inner work is really one of the keys towards better understanding ourselves so that we can better understand others. Um, Again, when it comes to kids, the best way to teach them is to practice it with them and to come from love all the time.
Ah, that's so nice to come from love all the time.
Yes. Say that to yourself as well. Whenever we
Yes.
deal with ourselves, am I coming from love? Am I coming from self-love?
Yeah. What a
And
good
when we are
reminder.
dealing when we are dealing with our kids, am I coming from love?
Wow. Yan yung hashtag from ano for our
For
conversation.
tonight.
Where are you coming from? Are you coming from love? Thank you so much, Lay. This has been a wonderful conversation. We really thank you for your time, for all the nuggets of wisdom you've shared with us. Oh gosh,
Thank
a lot
you.
of
Thank you for
parents,
having
teachers,
me.
caregivers are learning a lot from what you've told us. Thank you again, and to those who joined us, thank you for your time. Okay, goodbye for now. Thanks.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.